Hey guys, happy Sunday to everybody. It feels really weird saying that because it's actually Friday right now, but I am recording this video early so that I can get it done and ready to upload at the appointed time. So this is a tag video, and this is something that came about when Autumn from Autumn408 and Aileen and myself were having a chat on Facebook a few days ago, and I don't even remember like how we got started on this topic, but we kind of started talking about when each of us started wearing makeup and what that experience was like, you know, what the makeup looked like and what a hot mess we were. And it was funny because we each kind of started getting into makeup at different stages of our life. I think that I was probably the earliest. I really started getting fascinated by makeup when I was like 7 and 8, and Autumn, it wasn't until she was in college that she really kind of started getting into it, and then for Aileen it was even a little bit later in life. So for me, I mean, like, I started getting into my mom's like little minimal makeup bag that she had, and I was just like putting stuff on my face, and I would like stand there for hours and look in the mirror and go, oh my god, I look amazing. Which is comical to think of that now because I look like a hot mess. I mean, I remember like just eyeshadow everywhere and lipstick outside of the lines and like coloring in my eyebrows. And I mean, it was like a hot mess. And so we were kind of joking around about how funny would it be to like recreate a makeup look from those early years. So that's what this tag video is all about. So I can't quite remember the name. I'm gonna have to look back through our messages, but I think it's something about your like makeup evolution. So we each decided to kind of pick a time when we first started like doing our makeup and getting into it and the different techniques that we used and to essentially recreate one of those early looks for everybody else to enjoy and really admire, because I've got something good coming for you guys. So my mom decided that it was okay for me to kind of start wearing makeup when I got into middle school, and so that was about 6th grade, which was somewhere in like 1990, I believe. It was a while ago. May have even been 1989. I can't really remember the dates, but it was the very early 90s, and she actually allowed me to use the makeup that she had from when I was like 7. And so the makeup that I remember putting on my face and looking in the mirror and loving, she finally was like, oh, it's okay for you to use some of this stuff and to start, you know, playing with different looks, because she never wore makeup. Like, I think my mom was basically like, oh my god, what am I going to do with this one? I don't know. You know, she had no advice to give me because she knew nothing about makeup. So everything that I was doing was self-taught at the time. So it was just what I thought looked good. So today I am going to go ahead and recreate this look for you. And by the way, I am going to tag some other people at the end of this video that I think should totally do this little challenge, which is to recreate one of your earlier makeup looks. And I'm going to try to get the cat to leave me alone while I'm doing this. So I'm just going to talk you guys through this, and I hope you're excited because it's a look. And I purposely like have not taken a shower yet because I am literally going to have to scrub my face for a good 10 minutes after we're done here to get this stuff off. Okay, Sophie, move. So for me, when I was in 7th grade, it was really important to have a lot of coverage on my face. I hadn't really started breaking out at that point, but some of my other girlfriends had, and to them, like, having good coverage over like a breakout was like the biggest thing in the world. And so in my mind, I was like, well, obviously I have to do the same. So I went out, and to me, coverage equaled getting a foundation that was several shades darker than my actual skin tone at the time, and I'm pretty fair. So that only made sense to me. So I tried to find the darkest foundation that I have, and back in the day I did use liquid, and so the darkest that I found I went through my stuff and I found this Revlon Photo Ready makeup in Cool Beige, which is not the correct tone and it's not the correct color, but I think back in the day I may have even taken it a step darker, but that didn't matter. No, that's not a big deal. So I would normally just pour some of that out. Didn't use really brushes back then. Like, brushes weren't really like my thing. So I would just kind of start like smearing it on my face. And remember, coverage was important. So concealer, like I wasn't really aware of concealer at the time, and so I really just kind of, you know, I just used more foundation. And I just put it everywhere. On my lashes. Really rub it in. The thing that I would always be really careful about is not getting it in my hairline, because you really don't want foundation in your hair. So I'd be very careful to make sure that there was this nice line just right around the hairline. And then I also wanted to make sure I didn't get it on my neck, because I was afraid that it would like get on my clothes. So I would always make sure just to have this nice line right here around my chin. And I would say that I definitely didn't have a knack for making sure that things were blended very well. So I just kind of, you know, I'd go on and I'd be like, oh good, like my face is a lot darker. So now I'm like all covered up. Make sure to get all the way underneath. And then if it wasn't quite cakey enough, I would go ahead and put another layer, because again, coverage was so important. And so, you know, you just add another layer, making sure to stay away from the hairline, and make sure you stay away from your neck, because the neck was bad. You don't put anything on the neck. Okay. So that always took a while because there was just so much of it. There was always so much of it. And by the way, this is burning my eyes. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. So get a nice coat going. Yep. Oh, that's beautiful. Be sure to fill in all those pores with all that makeup. Okay. So now that I had this nice base, we didn't have eyeshadow primer back then, and so of course, like, you just make sure that you like get your foundation all up in your eyes here and on your brows. Okay. Oh god, it burns. Oh Jesus. Oh god. That's okay. Beauty is pain, right? Oh sweet baby Jesus. Okay, we're just gonna dab a little bit of this off. Okay. Still burns. It's okay. I'll get over it. You gotta have a little bit of pain. Can you see my eyes watering? Okay. So normally it would usually take a few minutes for this to dry. So at that point I would put on my brows. And by the way, this brow situation that I have going on today at 35 is actually the brow situation that I created back in 1990, because I'm not sure if those of you who were around back then remember, but it was so awesome to have super thin brows. So it was really important to just pluck all the hair out, which, you know, I've kind of basically got that. But then it was also important to have like a nice dramatic like arched brow. Like I saw that on a lot of ladies and I was like, that's beautiful. I got to do that on myself. So I'm going to take this really nice brown, I used to use a brown eyeliner because my mom didn't have brow powder. That was, did that exist back then? I don't know. It might have. It didn't in my mom's makeup case. So, and then I would just kind of draw, I would try to follow my natural outline, of course. It's kind of hard to do this because there's just so much foundation. Okay, and so the arch was really important, so I would take it out and then, of course, straight down. Anybody remember these brows? Come on. Somebody else had to have been around back then with me. I didn't go through this on my own. I know I didn't. Okay. These are actually probably a little bit thicker than what I normally did. I think I'm confusing today's brows. What's in today with what was in back in the day. Or maybe my brows are thicker now. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, this is a nice kohl pencil too. Yeah, so a strong brow, but a skinny strong brow was what was in. So we got to make sure that we do that on the other side. Now, symmetry wasn't really my thing back then. You know, I figured like, you make it look somewhat similar, but then, you know, like, it's not a big deal, right? So, anyway, I would try really hard to probably get it fairly even, but then eventually I'd kind of like be over it. So I had to get to school. Like, I had to show all this off. So again, this is a little bit thicker. Wow, this pencil is just so creamy. Okay. Yeah, you gotta thin them out. There we go. Thin those bad boys out, especially at the end. Amazing. I mean, really, who wouldn't look at this? And luckily back then I didn't have like these deep creases in my brows. I hadn't quite developed that overly expressive face that I have now. So I didn't have this settling that I have going on, but you know, let's just get some of that makeup out of there. All right. Again, remember, you gotta have that nice ring just right around the old face because you don't want this to blend down. Don't get it on your clothes. It's really bad. Powder was really important too because I knew even back then, like my skin had started to kind of get oily, and so it's very important to be matte. Like the matte look was in. So, let's see here. I think back then I may have actually used a sponge. I need to find a sponge. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. I don't even know if I have a makeup sponge. Yeah, I don't think I do. Oh, guys. Well, this is going to be a little bit different. Why don't I just use a tissue? We got to recreate this. Okay. So the powder that I used back then was the CoverGirl Clean Makeup. I really liked the little green compact. I thought it was amazing. But I don't have that. I do have the Rimmel Stay Matte powder today, so that's what we're going to use. And so it was always really important to get a good amount of powder on, and it was always important to like apply it like this. I would just smear it on. Just coat that on there because you've got to soak up that oil. Again, be really careful not to get it on your neck. That was the motto. No neck makeup. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now we're coming along. Remember to keep it away from the hairline. Keep it away from those gorgeous brows. And I really wish I was being like overly dramatic right now, but this was literally what I thought was like the best thing to do. I told you, hot mess. I am not sure how did my mom let me go out of the house looking like this? Even just this, because it gets better, but just this. Child abuse, I tell you. Okay. So blush was really very important to me back then, and I need to grab a brush that I would have used, so hang on. I gotta find one. Okay, well, this might actually be as close as I'll be able to get. Yeah. Okay, so I always used the little brushes that came with the blushes back then, and I don't have one that's exactly similar because they used to be like just those like little tiny ones. This is a This is one from a Physicians Formula product. Now, I really liked shimmery blush, and I really liked pink blush. Like, bright pink was like my favorite, and the shimmerier, the better. Did I just make up a word, shimmerier? Anyway, I'm going to use this Body Shop one because it's very similar to the color of pink that I was really into. And again, I had to use the brushes that came with the makeup products because I didn't have brushes back then. And I thought it was really important to make sure that you get the color right on the apples of your cheeks, because I thought, you know, since I have a round face and round cheeks, like, you put it on your cheeks because that's where you blush, right? So that's what I did. I would always smile. And then I'd put it right on my lovely round cheeks to accentuate my already very round face. Okay, yep. Just a nice round coating of blush. Gorgeous. Ah, yeah. That is it. It's amazing. Okay, there we go. Now the other side. I have to say, this is an even harder brush to use than I used back in the day. Yes. Now you got to keep it circular because I got a round face. So in order to accentuate my round face, I really got to keep that blush on the apples of my cheeks. Because you smile and that's where you blush. Shimmery and sparkly. Next would come the eyes. Now the eyes were so important, and again, brushes not really all that existent in my mom's makeup case, and so sponges were my friend back then. And at the time, my eyes were still the same color as Stella's eyes. My eyes changed to green, which is, I know, creepy, but they were like a light blue back then. And so I figured, well, you accentuate blue eyes with blue eyeshadow. So I had to look through my collection and found something that is somewhat similar. I'm going to have to do a little bit of mixing. But I have this Cargo Hands of Hope eye palette here that has a pretty blue. And then I also found another shade of blue that I could mix it with that is just really going to bring this to life for you guys. So again, there was no eye primer. You just slapped it on. So let's start with this beautiful blue from this Lorac palette here. And a little bit of this blue. That looks about the right shade. Now, I really, at the time, liked a rounded look to my eyeshadow. Back in the day, my eyes were actually a little bit more hooded when I was younger. And so in order to actually see the eyeshadow, I had to go above the crease because I wanted my eyeshadow to be seen. Like, that was like key. So I always made sure that I had a nice round arch right around here. And then, of course, on the lid. And defined lines were really the key in all of this. So nice and rounded. I really took my time with this. This was my favorite part, eyeshadow. And using these sponges was tedious work, people. But it was the important part, so you really gotta again, nice defined lines, making sure to go above the crease so that when I was looking straight ahead, you could still tell that I had eyeshadow on. With those crazy, like, hooded eyelids of my, like, 12 years old eyeballs. That was the worst sentence ever. But yeah, it was very important to have this eyeshadow be seen, and the cat's trying to get out of the room, but it's not happening. Okay, so one eye done. Again, this takes time, people. You really got to take your time with your makeup. Okay, so the other side, we got to get the same arch. Arches are beautiful. Sophie, stop it. This video is a shit show. Oh, you're fine. Okay. It takes so much concentration to be this majestic. Crisp lines. Oh my god, I look like a hooker. Okay. Sweet baby Jesus. Okay, so now that you can really see that eyeshadow, and it's just nicely defined. Sometimes I would go in and like blend it a little bit, because that was like, you're spreading it out more that way, which is always a good thing, and you can get that nice rounded edge really going that way. Yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure it's rounded. You can't have that just going off on its own. Beautiful. Now, even back in the day, I understood the highlight of the brows. That was like, you highlight your brow area, because it went with like the whole brow thing. So I would just wipe off my little sponge, because I didn't have very many of these sponges, and I used them to death. And I would take a nice icy white, and I would put that underneath, because even back in the day, I knew about highlighting. Look how nice and powdery that is. That's magnificent. It's like chunking up. Wow. Never seen it do that before. That's something right there. Yeah, get it right underneath your brows. Accentuate those nice, strong, thin brows. Just like that. But be careful not to like do away with the rounded shape. Yes. This is nice. Okay. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not. I looked like this. I'm telling you, it was child abuse. I think my mom was like, okay, I'm going to let her go out in public looking like this once or twice. She's going to get laughed at, and then she is never going to want to wear makeup again. I think that was like her theory, but it bit her in the ass, because I was like, dude, I look amazing. And all my friends were doing this too, so wrong, Mom, you were wrong. Okay, now I did usually have quite a bit of fallout, but I really didn't take time to notice that. That was like the least of my worries, so I would always just kind of leave that. Or if I would see it in the bathroom, like, you know, during the day, I would just kind of wipe it away, and I would make sure, you know, that like it's streaked all over the place. Yeah, perfect, just like that. Now I'm not quite done with the eyes. You will notice I don't have anything underneath yet. I didn't really believe in eyeliner on the top, but I believed in lining your bottom lash line. And anything that complemented the blue on top was like the way to go. So to me, that was another shade of blue. So here I have this lovely, and it was really important to line all the way in. I didn't know about the waterline. I didn't know that it was like safe to put that into your waterline, so I just kept it right underneath. Right from corner to corner. Just go straight across. Yes. Blue really does accentuate blue eyes, especially a shade of blue like this. I mean, it's amazing what a little color does for you. It just livens up the whole face. Now, mascara. Mascara was a tough thing because all of the mascara that my mom had was old. And it totally wasn't safe to use, but did that stop me? No. So since it was old and like clumpy and chunky, it was kind of hard to work with. So I picked out a nice a mascara that I've had for a while that needs to be tossed, and this is the Voluminous from L'Oreal with the curved brush. Now, see all that nice mascara on there? I didn't think to wipe that off because the point is to get it on your lashes. That's important. Why would you wipe it? Don't waste product. I didn't believe in wasting product, so here we go. Lashes back then weren't quite as important as they are to me now, so I just really didn't take that much time. But I did do this technique where I went back and forth. Because I was like, this makes my lashes nice and long. Wasn't really as concerned about volume, but just go back and forth. Now, you know, there's some casualties here because I'm obviously getting it all over my mascara, but that's okay. Not my mascara, but all over my eyeshadow. So I would just kind of wipe it away. That's easy to clean up. It's not a big deal. Don't mind what's immediately above the lash line. Okay, so once I had a nice coat on there, I would, of course, redip because you've got to have more product. Go to the other side and just really get those lashes nice and long, ladies. Okay, there we go. So pretty. Precise was not, that was a word that was not in my vocabulary back then. It was just about, oops, getting it on. And on it went. It's nice and spidery, yes. There we go. Just wipe that away. Okay. Nice. Ooh, that's good. You don't put any on the bottom lash line. My theory back then was that that could potentially cover up the blue eyeliner that you have going on, so you just don't do that. If my eyelashes were really clumpy, that did bother me a little bit, so I would usually try to go back and like separate them a little bit. And sometimes that would just make it worse. But I tried. Trying is key. Again, people, I was, I think, about 11 years old when these techniques were being employed. So, I don't know. I think this is pretty advanced for an 11-year-old, especially an 11-year-old in like the early 90s. Okay. Ooh, it's pretty. Now, the last thing, the piece de resistance were the lips. I was telling Autumn and Aileen that back then, I don't know, tell me if anybody remembers these, but CoverGirl came out with these lipsticks that were pastel colored. There was a pastel pink, a pastel blue, and a pastel like minty green. Now, my favorite, I had all three. I had the blue, the green, and the pink. My favorite was the mint green. So that went on quite a bit, and it was lovely and shimmery. And if you really like layered it, like you actually got like minty green lips, and that was good. Now I obviously don't have those in my collection. I wish that I would have kept them because they were amazing. But I found something else that I used to use back in the day, and it's the Labello Pearl and Shine. Now I think I remember telling you guys that this was like my very first like lipstick when I was still a tiny Melanie in Germany. My Oma used to buy these for me. So, pink and shimmery it was good. Now, it's important to see the lip product. So, I usually built up a couple layers of this because otherwise it didn't look like I had lipstick on, and your face isn't complete unless you have a lipstick on, so I just gotta build it up a little bit. Okay. And there you have it. This, people, was how I have no idea where that cut me off. I think I was talking about using brown eyeliner to color in my brows. I learned about a year or two after I started doing this that was unacceptable. Thank God that you learn. That you get older and you learn and you realize that this is not really the most flattering look, and there's better ways to do things. So, but, I mean, yeah. This was it, people. So thank you guys so much for chuckling along with me as I shared with you my makeup techniques from back in the day. Like I said, This was not dramatized. This was really how I thought makeup should be put on. And these were the types of colors that my mom had in her collection. So remember, her makeup kit was from probably 1985. And those were the products I used because that's what I had readily available. And I tried to make it look good. This is what I ended up with. Okay, so I want to tag some people to do this video. And I want to tag Stephanie from Flourishxo, Linda from TheBeautyPuzzle. Let's see, who else? I really didn't think this part through quite as well. I'm going to list some more names down below. Crystal from MissCrystalMakeup. I don't know if any of you ladies are going to be willing to do this, but I think it's hilarious. So look down below in the description box to see if I tagged you, because I think this would absolutely be hilarious to see on other people. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday, and I will see you back in another video where I don't look like a ridiculous hot mess. So thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to check out Autumn and Eileen's videos. I will link them down below. Show those ladies some love, and if you haven't subscribed to them, definitely do. They're both fantastic, and I really enjoy talking with them and just laughing more than anything else. We have a really good time together, so they are fantastic. Subscribe to them if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.